Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WDW Fan Zone Show. I am Stuart Sternberg, and I'm joined by John Maloney, Lottie Ferguson, and Kurt. And on tonight's episode, which will be a marvelous one, we're going to talk about if Disney World build a Marvel land, what we would like to see them put in it, do, whatnot, and so forth. And at some points, we'll pretend they can use everything that's at that other theme park. At other points, we might say, no, we can't use, but we'll see. We'll have fun with this. So sit back and enjoy the show as we go through a marvelous world of Disney, or marvelous land of Disney. But speaking of Marvel, before we get into the marvelous part of Marvel, there's a marvelous travel planner, and that is Mouse Fan Travel. So if you want to go to Walt Disney World, or you want to go to Disneyland, take a Disney cruise. The 2023 itinerary just came out now. They're booking for it too right now. If you want to take an adventure by Disney, they keep expanding their adventures by Disney, going to different places all across the globe. It's always fun to do things different, not just be in the parks. So no matter what you want to do or how you want to do it, Mouse Fan Travel can do it all for you. And the way to get in touch with Mouse Fan Travel is by going to their website, looking over what they've got going on right now in terms of deals, packages, and all sorts of things. But that's not all they do. They listen to their clients, they talk to their clients, they communicate with their clients, and they do what their clients want the way they want and how they want. They work with your budget, and they meet all your travel needs better than anyone else. So forget the rest, stay with the best, and go to www.mousefantravel.com. That's www.mousefantravel.com. All right, Marvel. If let's start off this way. If I think I know what park you guys are going to say, and I probably will agree with it. But of all the parks, and not in terms of what there's space for, but if you could put a Marvel land, which of the 4 Disney World parks would suit it best? And please, Kurt, don't say Animal Kingdom.
Oh, forget it. I'm done. Good night.
I know he wouldn't say that. No, seriously, which park do you think would suit it best?
Probably Disney Hollywood Studios. You could do the most in there.
Yeah.
Without many restrictions.
Yeah, I'd agree with that completely.
Yep.
I have one suggestion beyond that.
And that is?
Well, that's creating a whole new park.
That was something I thought of, and yes, Marvel could definitely take up a whole park, but they've already started to sprinkle some Marvel attractions in.
Right. Understood. And when we start to talk about the composition and the theming of this land, I'll get into a little bit more about why I had this as an idea. But with one land, even though you've got things spread around, it just makes it so hard to expand and grow it. So if you put a whole new park in, that's your opportunity to expand and grow things. Even though you've got, I agree, it's a challenge that you've got Guardians, certainly in Epcot now. But Marvel has so many characters, and it's a huge juggernaut, and it's a huge division of Walt Disney, of the Disney company. So, it's probably one of the more dynamic divisions of the company. So I think it can more than sustain its own with a park, especially with those opportunities.
John, I do agree with you. I think they have some things that they might not be able to do. There are some characters they might not be able to.
There's a lot of limitations right now. Absolutely. Yeah. But I don't think Disney World would go create a land or a park until they resolve those anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you create just a land, living with those limitations is a big challenge.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I definitely think it could support an entire land, as I think Star Wars could. I don't think it has the library to the extent of Marvel or the characters to the extent of Marvel, But I think if they decided to expand Star Wars land, you know, you could put half dozen attractions in there that we probably couldn't even come up with ourselves, but the Imagineers certainly could. I'm sure they have already.
Well, they already found a way to do that by creating
Pixar.
a micro park with
Yeah.
the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yep. You know, Pixar could handle with all the characters. They could handle their own park, and all they've got is a little bit of a land there right now. And I definitely think there's room to expand that. But you have other Pixar attractions spread out throughout the parks as well. You know,
More so than Marvel.
so I think we will see a fifth park somewhere down the road. I don't know what it'll be or how it'll be represented, but it definitely could be a Marvel one.
You got me thinking though, John. Instead of doing Disney Hollywood Studios, because think about it, Disney Hollywood Studios, it's that whole area near where the Playhouse Disney was, and the Little Mermaid, and
the Animation Courtyard.
The Animation Courtyard, yeah, because where the Star Wars, the gift shop was there. That would be the perfect area there to do it. But I just pulled up the map for Epcot. Now, while it doesn't fit the theming there, it might. I mean, if you think about it, you got where the Wonders of Life used to be. That's just empty. That was supposed to be some playground thing. Yep. They never did anything with that. Mission Space. Come on, we all know Mission Space isn't doing nearly as good as it used to.
Yeah, I think Mission Space is. I don't want to say the days are numbered, but I think that'll be one of the. If it's not the Imagination Pavilion that's redone first, Mission Space is going to be a close second.
Well, with Mission Space, you could either retheme it or just gut it and use that somewhere else. Even Test Track could be rethemed.
Well, yes. that whole part of World Discovery,
right?
You've already got the Guardians of the Galaxy,
yeah.
So you could take over all of World Discovery,
that whole side, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it could fit in Epcot. I think it fits better in Hollywood Studios only because of the theming of the park already and what's there. But you could definitely make a case for it in Epcot. Absolutely.
Since Stuart shot down my idea of building Wakanda over in Animal Kingdom, yeah,
no, you can build it there.
You cannot. You told me I couldn't pick Animal Kingdom.
You can't put Wakanda in Animal Kingdom.
Come on, they got undersea. Who's attacking them from
Namor?
No, I don't know who it is. They're under the ground. They're under
Namor is in Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
No.
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 Wakanda forever. Come on.
I can see the headline now.
Not at Animal Kingdom.
But we were underwater at the
hippos in Africa. I could just see the headline now, Kurt.
Not Africa, just over in Wakanda, its own land. No. You got the hippos you can see underwater. We could see these giant creatures with the people on the back. No. Okay, I'll listen to line. I'll keep it over here. I'm really starting to like the idea of just gutting this entire, not gutting, but retheming this entire side of Epcot.
But you know what? Going to John's point, if you create a fifth park with Marvel, you could have a Wakanda land there.
To me, this is why I would say no to that. It's too niche. It's if they didn't do that for Star Wars, people are going to complain. Why are you doing that for Marvel? You've got to like Marvel, and people like my son who were big Marvel fans are like, I'm Marveled out. It's just been too much lately. So they're not quite as strong with some of their stories as they were before. So
yeah, but look at Disney Plus. Look how strong the stories are there in their small little series with Loki, WandaVision. Those are prime for attractions at some point.
I would argue that Marvel has 10 times the opportunity that Star Wars does right now.
I agree.
Star Wars hasn't, they're just starting to branch off with things like The Mandalorian, but they haven't strayed very far from the Skywalker saga yet. So
They
No.
will be. I think just give them time. I think they will.
Marvel's got so many branches and so many untapped characters in their catalog.
Yep.
So Star Wars has got a ways to go yet. I think Marvel's already
Yeah.
got the richness between
I
the
agree.
MCU and the untapped characters.
Now, I'm going to make an admission here. I am more of a DC fan than I am a Marvel fan.
There's the issue.
Give me Batman and Superman any day over Spider-Man. I'm sorry, I love Spider-Man, but I like Batman
And Stewart's not alone. That's the thing. There's a lot of people who like both, and they're like, take it or leave it. I don't know if an entire park, if people would pay for an entire, some will, John, but I don't know how that's going to go over. Mickey Mouse doesn't have an entire park, and he's got a huge following.
Kurt.
But look at the box office proceeds from the MCU. It's phenomenal.
Disney has a great way of putting things together that will appeal to the masses, even the masses that have no clue what Marvel is.
But you have fans that go to watch MCU movies that are not Marvel nerds, that don't read the comic books. I never read the Marvel comic books, but I've watched every MCU movie. And there's millions of people that watch the MCU movies that don't have a steep background in Marvel lore and history.
Well, we can argue this all day. And you know what? Nobody's wrong. It's your opinion. And that's what's that's what's great about it. And you know what? Who's ever watching or listening to the show right now, they might have different opinions than we have here, and that's okay. I mean, I'd love to see Disney buy DC Comics. I don't think that'll happen. I think they're owned by Time Warner now, aren't they?
I don't know. That's a Kyle question.
Yeah. But I'd love to see them take DC Comics over and then blend the two together. But that's another story for another day. So let's focus on what we're trying to do here tonight, which I'm not sure I know myself.
Well, if you start to talk about what you would do with a land, so this is where I started thinking about the other parks. So to try to, Marvel has so many rich worlds. Mm-hmm. They've got stuff going on in New York. They've got stuff going on in San Francisco. They've got stuff going on in outer space with Asgard and Nowhere and wherever Captain Marvel goes. There are so many different places in Wakanda. There's so many different places where Marvel lives. So to try to create a land and put those all together into one land as kind of a patchwork, I think that would be a big challenge.
Well, then let's challenge ourselves tonight.
Well, I got the answer to that challenge.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so we've already in Disney attraction history used ride systems more than once.
Yep.
So Pandora, Flight of Passage, you get a Quinjet or you get something and you fly through all of those lands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, it's the same thing with Test Track. That's why I really started looking at this. That Test Track is ripe for a retheming itself.
Oh, absolutely.
You could use that track layout and have the cars going through there with screens up all around. We could be battling Loki going through the city as everything's falling around us.
Let's take a small step back for a second. Now, Kurt and I said Disney's Hollywood Studios originally, and you're getting me to rethink it as well. Is there enough land in Disney's Hollywood Studios to do not everything, but some of the things?
Minor.
I think it's too limiting. I think that animation courtyard, and we talked about this before when we talked about
that
building parks. I think it's Marvel. You're just you're compressing it too much to put it into that area.
Yeah, and you know what? Thinking about it, you're absolutely right. And you look at what they're doing in what was Future World in Epcot, and I think both you guys have kind of got the right idea. If you put it there, even though the theming doesn't exactly fit, Disney can make it work.
Well, and if you think about it, the Epcot approach to breaking the park down is pavilions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you could have dissimilar pavilions of a Marvel theme.
Right.
So right now you've got Guardians of the Galaxy, which is primarily an attraction, but you could have a pavilion for Wakanda. You could have a pavilion for Asgard or for Guardians of the Gal. Well, you don't want to do Guardians; you've already got that. But Wakanda, Asgard, Earth, where you've got the Avengers or whatever, Spider-Man, Captain, or I'm sorry, what's his name? Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
So I think you could have pavilions to isolate some of the groupings of characters and some of the worlds of Marvel into the pavilions, and still be within the way that Epcot groups things together and how they break down their property.
Yeah, the only way it would work at Disney's Hollywood Studios is if they could break through the area there and use space that's not within the existing park. But then you're talking about taking out parking lots, going back to where the Star Wars, what is it, the Galactic Star Cruiser is, and you can't do that. So I think you're right. They don't have the space there, even though it fits better theme-wise. The space is in Epcot.
Yeah, the space. I'm looking at the two right now. There is not a lot of room.
Yeah.
Even in that animation courtyard, there's just not a lot of room back there because they have a lot of backstage offices that are back there that are being used.
If you use that as a Marvel land, God, you'd be limited to 2, maybe 3 attractions tops. Would there be room for a restaurant? Would there be room for? They'll make room for souvenirs. We know that.
It's not. There's, again, compared to the two of them, when you go to Epcot and then you look at all this, the space that we're talking about at Epcot is probably twice the size of the space that would be available over at Disney Hollywood Studios, just going back between the two of them.
And to John's point, bringing them together with not together, but separating them by pavilions. You don't have the space there in Disney's Hollywood Studios when you think about it, because Disney's going to do it in a large scale. They're not going to put in some rinky-dink attraction.
This would be done over the course of time. That Space 220 restaurant could completely be themed something.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, it's Marvel.
There he is.
See you.
Yep. I heard the Marvel call, so I came.
Good. Glad you can make it. So,
and he's well attired too.
Yeah.
So Lottie and Kyle are sitting in their, I guess, the back of their house. They have a beautiful backyard.
Lots of trees and bugs.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk bugs? Come here to Florida.
No, I don't think I'm going to have that fight.
Yeah. So where were? Oh yeah. Now, if you take, no, I know we're not going to put it in Animal Kingdom. I would not put it in Animal Kingdom under any circumstances. But you've got Dino Land there, which is waiting for a remake. Not the attraction, the dinosaur attraction, but the rest of it. That would give you some space bigger than you would get, I think, at Hollywood Studios. But I would not put it there at all.
Well, you could put Rocket and Groot there. You got a plant and an animal.
There was enough room. I think when we talked about retheming Animal Kingdom, there was enough room to put one attraction over there in Dino Land.
That the spot in Dino Land where they took out I can't remember the name of that
Primeval World.
Primeval World.
That coaster. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not very much space. I saw an aerial shot of that the other day, and My backyard is probably a little bigger than that space.
Well, there's actually a dinosaur, a character, Devil Dinosaur, and Moon Girl that are semi-popular that I'm sure the Universal doesn't have any claim over. They could still keep with dinosaurs, but put something Marvel there.
Yeah.
All synergy.
Now, Kyle, since you just joined us, if you could pick one park to put a Marvel Land in, which would it be?
A Marvel Land?
A Marvel Land.
You know, I'd go with Epcot.
Yeah.
I will go with Epcot. I thought about Hollywood Studios for a sec, but then I mean there's Star Wars there, so
it's too much IP already.
Yeah, let's space that out. Yeah, there's already Guardians there. Let's just make it just make it Marvel.
You know, I think John kind of convinced Kurt and Wade or myself that Epcot is the place to go, just for space.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. Like all the new lands they're doing, like the Nature Land and what is it, the Water Land or whatever. I don't even know what they're calling it. I forgot.
Yeah.
But you could
the Journey of Water,
World Nature,
World
Nature, World Nature, World Discovery, World Celebration, and then World Showcase.
But wouldn't that be an easy fix to just theme it in Marvel? You could keep the same names and just theme that in Marvel, and like you said, put up these pavilions around.
But I think it fits into. I mean, since they already have Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind fitting into World Discovery. And that's partly why they came up with that name. So they can. They have to figure out. You know, they had Peter Quill visited Epcot before he ever got whisked off the space, and that's their little tie there. So they have to think about how they get those other things to fit in. But I mean, you've got things like Stark Expo.
There you go.
I think.
How about the aquarium, Aquaman? You retheme it.
That's the wrong one. You need Namor.
He knows.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, he talks to fish, not so much. Yeah, I hear you talk to fish. Yeah, no.
I eat fish. I go to the Coral Reef Cafe.
Coral Reef, right?
I'm allergic to fish, so
you and me both. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Can't miss what you never had.
Yeah. Fish are friends, not food.
Exactly. Yeah.
They would have to have an Ant-Man attraction because there were so many ants here in Florida.
And I like the idea of the Stark Expo.
Yeah, that could work.
With the Discovery Land.
I want that restaurant that's at California Adventure and Avengers Campus repeated. Just the idea of the bun being tiny and the big piece of chicken, or Pim Test Kitchen. Yeah, that has to happen.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
Well, so you get to experience that on the Disney Wish.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Now I got another reason.
Your kids they need to go to college anyways, right?
Yeah, they'll be okay. Yeah, scholar. Who needs money for college? It's scholarship. Yeah.
By the time they have to go to college, there will be no way anybody could pay for college.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So, the Odyssey Pavilion, I think, would be a perfect place to do a Stark Industry kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that would work if we redid Test Track, because it's right next to it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm getting the feeling that you don't really like Test Track, Kurt.
Oh, no. I love Test Track. I'm not a huge fan of the new overlay. I preferred the original overlay than this neon mess that they have there.
Oh, okay.
I love that attraction. Come on, as a driver's ed teacher, I love that attraction. So I miss being a crash test dummy and going through the wall is what I miss.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
If you have to redo that one, it's got to be Cars. I know that they've done it like at Radiator Springs Racers out in California, but if they're gonna overlay it, I don't see a Marvel. I don't see a Marvel overlay of that outside of just driving through,
like Marvel scenery.
Well, that's it. Through a city. Yeah, something. The city. You got everything coming down over the top of you. Think of what was Age of Ultron. something like that, where it's all battling over the top here. You're trying to get through to the other end.
Or
That could
you,
be fun.
or you redo it to, like New York City with Hawkeye going through, whatever.
Yeah, you get in the car and you're running away from something.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that, Dinosaur, and how many other rides is that?
Yeah. Indiana Jones on Disneyland.
By the
Oh
way,
yeah, there you go.
You brought up Dinosaur. I just want to mention something about Dinosaur. My daughter was here a few weeks ago, or a couple of weeks ago. I went on the dinosaur attraction with her. Now, she hadn't been on it since she was a little girl. She was so disappointed that the dinosaur didn't come out into the cars or the ride vehicles as you go by. She thought they really dumbed it down to the point where it just wasn't exciting anymore.
That's funny.
Yeah.
How dare they?
How about Mission Space? What would you put there? I mean, I would completely gut that whole.
Yeah. What can you do?
Well, I mean, if you rethemed it correctly, it could be a Captain Marvel
I
attraction.
wondered about that.
Yeah.
Or all of the Marvels.
Yeah, it could
Ms.
be. I mean,
Marvel, Marvels, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Shield and Scroll, and yeah, there's plenty of ways they could do that.
Technically, you could set it up so you're somehow inside of the Iron Man suit.
Well, it is,
Oh, that's
Kurt,
good.
you mentioned that. One of the things that I had a note of that I think is important in a new Marvel land is to give guests the opportunity to take on the persona of their favorite Marvel characters. People love to do that. Whether they be Iron Man or they want to be Captain Marvel or Black Panther or Thor or whatever. People love, Marvel fans love, and that's what Ms. Marvel's all about. She wanted to be Captain Marvel. So people love portraying themselves as their favorite Marvel character.
Yeah.
So remember Some of All Thrills?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
So are you thinking of treating it like that, where you go somewhere and you pick out, what superhero you wanted to be or what powers you wanted to have, and then maybe create your own ride or attraction based on what you choose?
Well, that's certainly one avenue for it. I think people would also want to capture it. So one way I think they could do that is through the through PhotoPass and the what do they call it? The magic
Magic
show.
shots.
Right. And so I think people want to take that stuff home with them. So if you've got, the backgrounds, the environments, or whatever, and you have costumes could be a little challenging, and that could slow things down. But if you put those magic shots in, and you've got people playing the characters with you, people want to be with their favorite characters and they want to portray their favorite characters.
Well,
and I think they could do a lot of that with PhotoPass.
Yeah, that would work. How about in the Imagination Pavilion? You go in as yourself, but you go through the steps where you come out your own superhero, and you could create whatever you want, through steps of the way along a ride of some sort. And there you are in a souvenir shop where they have all these costumes you could buy.
You guys are coming up with great ideas. Some of All Thrills and Imagination Pavilion.
Yep.
So, and they are teasing, apparently. I don't know anything about Ironheart, but apparently in the next Wakanda Forever, you're gonna learn about Ironheart. And I don't know what it is. So I'm like, okay, now I'm intrigued, but is it like a female version of Iron Man? So
something like that.
So there you go. Again, if we want to fly him in Mission Space, who do you want to be? Identify as him or her.
I think the Iron Man idea at Mission Space is probably the most brilliant thing you've ever come up with, Kurt.
Thank you. Thank you. Get my arm back there and try to pat myself.
Try to pat my back. Yeah, there you go.
Woo, high five.
Yep.
So yes, you're gonna need the protein bag for a lot of people, especially if you tip forward instead of backwards.
How would you incorporate Wakanda into the front part of the park?
Wow.
There's a lot
I
of
mean,
greenery.
I already said my idea. My idea is doing like flight of passage, and you'd be flying over, Wakanda and New York and uh, uh, through space, through Asgard or whatever.
Yeah, but
I don't I
that-
don't know
sorry.
that I would put Wakanda someplace, like I don't know that I would create Wakanda.
I think maybe having like a Wakandan embassy as opposed to having Wakanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that I would want Wakanda.
Given the space there, that would work.
I think so. When I was thinking about, how you're constrained by trying to put a land into a park, and when I thought about, well, what are the ways you could get around that? So if you look at what they did in Disneyland, they created Avengers Campus. So it's
Mhm.
not one of the lands from one of the movies
Mhm.
per se. I mean, certainly they had the Avengers headquarters, but I do think something like Wakanda would work if you're only isolating one land with limited space within a park. But it could be more, to your point, Kyle, it could be Wakanda Embassy, or it could be, just a
Kyle.
flavoring of Wakanda, like, with shops and restaurants, a little bit of that immersive feel and
Mhm.
an attraction or two.
Now,
Yeah, I think part of the beauty of Wakanda is that we can't go
You
there.
can't go.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, because it's not like it's like Galaxy's Edge. That's not that's not
It doesn't
Tatooine.
exist somewhere.
Yeah, that's not Tatooine. That's this place that they made, and so
Right.
like I said, I think I'd go. I'd want to see that as opposed to like Avatar land, where,
Mhm.
or Pandora. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see Wakanda like that.
Mhm.
so could you do something with with the Stark Expo, where one of the feature attractions in the Stark Expo is something similar to Flight of Passage, where you're flying through a virtual Wakanda?
Okay, that
that works.
works.
Yeah, that would work. That
Yeah.
would work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else I'd like to see them do there? Take the Star Tours attraction, put something exactly like that in Epcot, if that's where the Marvel line is going to be, and
Body
make
Wars.
it a Marvel
Oh
tour.
yeah, Body Wars.
Body
That's-
Wars. Well,
right.
they've been literally like scalping parts out of Body Wars to move it over with Star Tours. But hey,
Yep.
they can update it and everything, and it's still there.
Well, and you could have different experiences in the different the different simulators.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one could be Wakanda, one could be Asgard or Guardians or Avengers or
World Home
something.
World. I mean, there's plenty of places you could go.
Yeah,
I wanna
which
go
is what Star Tours is.
Yeah.
The Rainbow Bridge.
Yes, the
Oh,
Rainbow
yeah.
Bridge. If they could recreate that with the lights under it, oh, I'd love to walk across that.
I think it's called I think it's called the Bifrost. I think. Yeah.
Now,
Rainbow Bridge.
just for a moment, let's assume Disney got back the rights to all the characters that they already own that are currently at that other park in Orlando.
Oh, that other place.
That Universal place.
What attractions would you like to see come out of those characters? And John's going, you need a fifth park at that point.
Well, I think that's what we were
Yeah.
just talking about with like the Iron Man attraction, because I
Yeah.
think that is owned by Universal.
I
Yeah,
think it is.
yeah.
But there's so many
License.
Marvel attractions that they could use that are not owned by Universal that we may not know very well, but Disney has a way of getting to make us know them very well.
That was Guardians.
Yeah.
Well, and to
Well,
a lot of
Wolverine.
people, it was
Wolverine,
all
well,
of them.
See, I don't like Wolverine, but
Wolverine's
kids like
popular.
Wolverine. Yeah. Well, I mean the X-Men.
Like X-Men, yeah, Wolverine,
Yeah.
Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me Wolverine and Storm and Rogue. Maybe even Gambit.
Yeah.
Now, does Disney have the rights to Thor, or is that also Universal?
Do they have the rights to what?
Thor.
Do they have the rights to
I
Thor?
think Thor is walking around at Universal
Thor
as well.
is at Universal.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're missing the Avengers. They're walking around Universal right now.
For the most part.
Yeah.
But like you said,
Mhm.
in the comic book version of them, not the MCU version.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Did you get to meet Thor when you were in Disneyland, Lottie and Kyle?
I think actually now I think about it, yeah, I did. I
Okay.
did.
I can't
And
remember who was
I
on
think
the race
I think you did.
course.
I mean all the Avengers came out, actually.
I remember
If-
Black Widow. I
'cause
remember Falcon.
Black Widow, well, Cat, I don't remember Falcon, but Black Widow,
Captain.
Cap, Hawkeye, and I think Thor was out there too.
Yeah, we got our picture with Thor and Loki together when we
So
were
did
there.
we.
Did they
Remember?
behave?
Yeah, I was so
No,
hurt
no.
because we didn't have the pass, so I didn't get. She wouldn't spring for the few bucks to take the picture. 'Cause I like stuck my hand out. I think I stuck my hand out like this, and Loki grabbed it, turned it over, said like this, and
Ah,
yeah, we took a picture with Thor and Loki, and some
Wow,
cheapskate
that's
wouldn't let
cool.
me get the picture.
So now we can't have Thor, but I think
No.
we can have Loki.
Yeah.
Is Loki over there
Loki's
too?
in there too.
Is he?
Oh,
Yeah.
he's got his old crown
Ooh.
on, doesn't he? He's in his
Yep.
green
Yep, he's
outfit.
got the
Oh,
old
that's
suit.
right. Now that you
Ah.
mention that, you're right.
Thanks.
But what about
Yeah.
Black Widow?
Kyle, I've got a
She's in
question
there
for
too.
you. If
In
you can,
fact, let me see. No, she wasn't like physically
Yeah, she
there.
was. She was on one of the little motorbike scooter thingies.
No. I'm talking
no.
about over at Universal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're
Universal.
talking about.
Right.
Yeah, because they have several folks come out
They ride out on.
Yeah,
well, they
on-
used to. They
on
ride out
on quad
the
runners,
Yep.
and then they
Oh,
have
that's
somebody like in a
right.
Jeep that's got a water gun. I think Doctor Doom comes out.
That
Somebody's
makes
driving a
sense.
Jeep and he's got like a water gun, and then they have Captain America, Spidey, Wolverine. I don't know if it. Yeah, I think
That's
it's either
right.
Black Widow or Storm that comes out there, or maybe it's both of them. Okay.
now,
Yeah,
Kyle,
it makes sense.
if you could come up with a villainous dark ride that's Marvel themed, what Marvel characters would you pick?
Let's see, something villainous.
It's got to be Thanos.
Well, yeah.
No,
I mean,
good.
that's. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. Actually, I might not want to make it just one. I might want to throw several. I might want to throw Loki and then Thanos. I mean,
Yes.
just stack them up.
Get the multiverse going.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
throw them all out there. I mean, depending on how big this thing is,
Oh, can you imagine
you know.
Think of
a multiverse attraction?
with all of Spider-Man. Think of all the bad guys from Spider-Man.
Oh
they
yeah,
brought out in the
there are
multiverse and
tons.
But
throw
they can't
those
have
all in the
Spider-Man.
attraction.
Oh yeah.
Oh
You know what?
man.
So I know the queue and everything is very
Mhm.
heavily themed, but the way Guardians of the Galaxy is created, you could essentially change the video screens and make it anything.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
I thought I already heard that they're planning on theming it for Christmas. Did I
Mm.
hear that?
It would be easy enough. That's what they ended
Yeah.
up doing with Star Tours.
Yeah. They're gonna put Santa in there. You gotta find Santa.
Yeah.
Come on, Peter Quill, go chase that Santa. Chase that reindeer. Rudolph is over there.
Well, I was thinking, we talk about dining and gift shops and
Mhm.
guest experience, but events, I think, is an important thing for the Marvel land, specifically Halloween. So we talked about, portraying your favorite character.
Mhm.
I think people would love to wear Halloween costumes to a Marvel land.
I think like the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique having
Oh,
something like that.
yeah,
Having something to where you take the kid and you doll them up as their favorite superhero.
or
I mean,
adult.
Yeah, for a nominal fee.
For a nominal.
Yeah, for a small fee.
Small
Wait, can I
fee.
get it all on there? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, you got to move back a little bit farther, Kyle.
yeah,
That's the size of
Yeah.
your receipt than when you have to pay for it.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Adults couldn't go because it cost too much. I couldn't go in there and okay. Just checking. and go and get Black Panther. And,
You've been told no.
yeah, I've been told no.
The accountant said no.
Yes, yes. The administrator said,
There you go.
No. Yeah, that's
Wow.
not that's above my pay grade.
Your marriage is like the rest of ours.
Yep.
Like it or not, you do what you're told.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That's how it works.
So unfair.
That's how it works. But tell him he's not lying. He's not wrong. 20 years, you know.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
37.
Wow.
What am I? Oh God. Hold on. Let me.
You're supposed to know this. I'm
31.
calling Michelle.
Uh-oh. Don't no, we're not calling the show. No, because that would be all kinds of trouble. And I'm not. I don't even want to step into that.
Yeah, we just hit 26, so I remember that. But I still don't have my lightsaber.
What?
I'm not allowed to go and buy a lightsaber.
Oh.
I can't do it.
I had to make a few concessions, you know, sign over some rights, give a little blood, and I was able to get mine.
I was asked what would I do with it and where would I display it, and I said right over the top of the headboard, and it was absolutely not. It's not happening.
The headboard?
You could have it right behind you on the headboard, and then when you want your light on, you just hit the button. Boom, here's your light. It's on.
Kurt, when you're living by yourself, you could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think
even I would ask for that.
No, I don't think that's gonna work.
I got the CPAP. I already sound like Darth Vader anyways. I might as well.
Well, you know, so that brings up an interesting question.
Uh-oh.
So in Galaxy's Edge, there are those two experiences that you have of building a lightsaber or building a droid. Is there something akin to that would fit well into
Thor's glove, or not Thor's, Thanos'
Infinity
glove.
Gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet. That's one. Yeah, you have a glove, put the gems on there. That'd be simple enough.
What were those little plants you used to advertise on TV? You water it and it would grow. I forgot the name of it.
Chia pets.
Chia pet.
Do that with Groot.
Groot.
Chia pet Groot.
Wasn't there a Chia pet Groot?
There was
Yeah, there is a Chia pet Groot.
one.
Yes, there's a Chia pet Groot. Let's see. What could you do? Because you could customize a hammer maybe.
Yep, Thor's.
Because there's a couple different hammers actually. There's Stormbreaker, there's Mjolnir, there's a couple other ones.
What about like vehicles, radio controlled or RC vehicles? So
Well, they used to do.
They got those spiders already,
right?
Because they got the spiders thing. They've got like the Spider-Man spider bot, and they've got like the Wasp and Black Widow. I've seen where they've got they theme the spider bots to different heroes.
Right.
But that's something to think about because that could really be something fun.
Think of all the individualized little Iron Man theme, the Iron Man you could make, all the different suits.
I just Googled famous Marvel weapons, and the first one on the list is in the Black Panther suit, an indestructible vibranium power sponge. Would anybody go for that?
A power sponge?
A power sponge?
In the wrong context, that really sounds bad.
I think we need to move on to the next one. I guess you could make a shield.
You can make a shield.
You can customize a shield. You
can't do a bow and arrow, not at Disney.
Oh no. But you could. Especially at Epcot, you could have different shields going with different places.
Now, if we're
Captain Canada. Captain Canada.
Captain Canada, eh?
I've seen that guy,
Duke Kaboom. Oh no, wrong.
Red and white
shield,
shield,
Did you say Duke Kaboom?
Yeah, I said wrong genre.
Didn't they? The what it was it the what if where Captain America was the British girl?
Yep.
Yep.
So they
Captain
had the
Carter.
British flag on there.
Captain Britannia, or what's her name?
Yeah.
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter. That was it.
John,
no,
the
she
further
wasn't
we
Captain
go,
Carter. She was Captain Britain, or
Britain?
Captain.
I
Yeah,
think they
something.
might have
It's
called her Captain Britain.
America and England.
Yeah.
yes, yeah. You know, the further we go into the show, I'm more convinced John is right. We need a fifth park for Marvel.
I just want it over in Epcot. Just bring in this whole corner of Epcot right here.
Well, I think Epcot. I mean, we've arrived at the next best option to having a whole new park.
There's space for another park.
Yeah, I'd want another park. If we were just, I mean, go big or go home. We
Yeah.
can just do it. You know, we have the mouse. He can have a little Iron Man T-shirt on, running around.
You know
Now,
what? The Muppets can
Yeah.
have the Muppets can have their own land.
Yeah.
Marvel, I
Yeah.
think, needs its own park.
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah,
you're
it's
going to start a whole new park, which park are you willing to basically accept that people are no longer going to go to?
No, I'm not taking a park away.
Yeah,
I know that, but people aren't going to go to every park
Yeah,
on the
there's-
trip
yeah,
with 5 parks.
Well,
It
but
gets
look
to
at-
be too much it gets to be too expensive
Mhm.
for a lot of families.
Well,
It's
think
expensive,
about
but
it.
it
That's
won't
where you get
sacrifice.
the multiple visits, because you'll never do you even if I've only went there once, you're not going to be able to do all of that.
Yeah.
So
well, right.
I don't know.
Not everybody necessarily wants to go to the same parks anyway.
Mhm.
You know, Kurt,
So-
if you want minimalistic things, go to Disneyland, where you only have 2 parks.
I'm just saying, which it's getting to the point now with Disney where the prices and everything, they're outpricing the everyday family. You're going to have to sacrifice one of the parks and accept that people aren't going to attend this park as often if they're going to go to the new greatest thing.
I agree with you that because you have 5 parks, that the ticket to bounce across all of them could be too expensive, but then you start to pick and choose the ones you want to do because the numbers are getting bigger, and then also that's a natural way to distribute guests better. So we know that the parks are so crowded, so there's 2 reasons for a new park. I'm sorry, 2 of the reasons I see for a new park are additional revenue stream for Disney and a way to improve the
Wait.
level of people in the
I'll
parks.
give you guys another
It also
reason.
raises the price.
I'll give you another reason. Something you guys haven't thought about. Universal having a 3rd park built.
Oh, yeah.
What would be the most wonderful thing Disney could do to Universal? Create a 5th park to keep more people on Disney property and not spend even a day or 2 at Universal.
Mhm.
And have diversity in what people want to do, so they have better choices. And to your point, Kurt, maybe they'll go to Marvel World, or the Marvel Park and the Disney's Hollywood Studios, because those are the things they don't care about. Epcot, they don't care about Animal Kingdom. They may not even care about Magic.
But that's what I mean by the sacrifice. Money that would normally go to one of those other parks is now going to a different park.
Yeah, but
And you have to add more people to that other park. And in the long run, where you're thinking, oh, we're going to make more money, it's a new money stream. Well, people were already there in this park. Now we're taking them out of that park, putting them into the 5th park, but you've still got to staff that 5th park and everything that goes with that.
You can't even get all of the annual pass holders into parks on a given day because they're locking it. The parks are all reserved.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm worried about if we did a 5th park that was all Marvel. I've heard a lot of my friends who have boys say that they were not at all interested in Magic Kingdom. Are we going to end up having the girls at this park and the boys at this park? Not saying that girls don't like superheroes, because our kids do, but
hey, Kamala Khan does.
This is true. Yeah.
I don't know what the breakdown is. So is it 50-50 or is it more 70-30? I have no clue. I don't know what.
Kurt, something I wanted to mention to you. There are a lot of people that come to Disney World now that are staying on Disney property that are taking time away from Disney and going to Universal.
I've done it before.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
So there are already people that are not, they can't see every park at Disney because they're spending time away from Disney.
some of it is they
Pick and
just
choose.
want a change of pace to get away too. So,
Well, wouldn't a Marvel park be a different change of pace?
That. Yeah.
it would
You
if
know,
you're interested in superheroes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Can I see Disney doing a Marvel park, a solely
Well,
themed park on
maybe
Marvel?
not solely. Maybe like 75%.
Yeah,
You know, because I mean,
that I could see.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it should just be 100%.
So what's the other 25%?
I would.
I'm not sure. I'm just thinking like,
Yeah.
well, if we're just thinking about not fighting, but you know, working after
It's a
Universal. I
discussion.
mean,
Yeah.
they don't have a whole park that's Harry Potter,
You know,
but I mean, they've got substantial areas that are, you know. So I mean, I don't know that it'd be a wise decision to just have a Marvel park, but you know, I mean, because I mean, if that was the case, then they should have did a Star Wars park.
Now, what I could see Disney doing is a park where half is heroes, half is villains, and incorporate Marvel and other heroes and villains within their. I can't think of the word.
You could split it to different lands. Don't forget, we also mentioned there's a certain series that's been on for over 30 years now that Fox owns that currently is over at Universal that may be going away. So you could enter a Duff or some kind of a Simpson land.
Well, that I could see
Also,
Disney's Hollywood Studios.
But
in the animation
it's already at Universal.
But they might be going away with the licensing.
Yeah.
Is the point?
Yeah, it might go away.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But that in the animation,
they didn't do the in perpetuity like Marvel did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
and I think that goes away.
They got a better contract.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, if you're going to build a whole new park, you're going to have to incorporate things that are going to like more than just Marvel. Bring people into the park. Okay, so like if you've got maybe 4 or 5 different lands again, I didn't say how big each land had to be. When you look at the Magic Kingdom, Liberty Square is not very big, but it's still considered a land. So you could do the same thing. I mean, you want to have a large portion of it, for however you're breaking it down with Marvel Land, whether you've got the Wakanda area here with Stark Enterprises here and all the way around. But I don't think a full all-out park that's all Marvel is going to fly. You want to do one land there? You want to talk about the villains land? Put that over there. You want to do a Simpsons land? Hey, why not? So
the way a Marvel land could work, or a Marvel park, solely Marvel park, would be if they really put to the forefront the female Marvel characters as well as the male Marvel characters. So there's something for everyone. But the problem with that is how many girls want to grow up and, be a superhero fighter?
I don't know. I mean,
like I said,
my next door neighbor does.
That superhero boutique, it could turn a lot of things around.
It could.
Superhero salon,
alliteration.
superhero salon. Okay.
Yeah,
superhero
I got a 7-year-old
salon.
little girl next door that's all in. She'd be there.
I got 3 that are all in.
Marvel is trying to be inclusive and reach out to everybody. So there are a lot of strong, female hero characters available in Marvel, and they even went with younger folks now when you look at Ms. Marvel. So I think the opportunity is there to appeal to boys and girls alike.
I agree.
I don't think they'll do a 100% Marvel theme park, but I do think Disney, if anybody can appeal to everyone and it's Disney, no matter what they do.
Look at all the Fox entities that would be available. Think of all the things you could expand into one park if it was a Fox themed park. So between Fox with Marvel,
let's not make it a
else.
Fox theme park. We want to stay away from the politics.
Well,
but
we'll get away from that media Fox television theme area. But yeah, think of
Fox
some
IP.
of how they've expanded some of the movies with that. The Fox IP, yeah. So between, again, you've got the cartoons. There's several different cartoons that you could do some type of theme park area with there. That would be like the equivalent of like a Fantasyland area between the Simpsons and Futurama and things like that. And then you got your Marvel area that's more like Tomorrowland / Adventureland almost kind of themes. So what else is there out there that's made by? I mean, who's Top Gun? I don't know. That's 20th Century Fox wasn't Top Gun. There we go.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But
yeah, you could.
I feel the need for speed.
There was a Top Gun coaster, if I remember right.
It was at a Six Flags park, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying IP because they were like I think it was Paramount or something.
Six Flags.
Yeah.
Oh, they are Paramount. You're right.
Yeah. There were several. I think Six Flags had several movie themed like coasters because they were wrestling with those IPs. Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I like where you're going. But I'm telling you, 75-ish% heroes and villains, and then 25, little mouse running around, and maybe Simpsons ride or two.
Yeah,
that could work.
That could work.
Yeah.
And I just want to throw something else out there. Disney's Hollywood Studios is supposed to change its name. It hasn't. What if they were to change the name to that, and the fifth park were called Disney Marvel Studios?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember?
And then actually create a working studio within there.
That's what Universal did, I thought, and then it kind of fell apart.
It falls apart. Same thing happened. Remember, this was a Disney Hollywood Studios was a working park, but because there were so many people, there was too much going back and forth between the two sides, between California and here. There was too much going on, and they're like, they're like, yeah, let's go with it. And then by the time they made it to California, they're like, no, we already decided it's going this way. So there's too much miscommunication. That's why it doesn't work.
But eventually, Disney's going to move all those people from California here.
I don't
know. I don't know.
The parks people, but not the the movies and
no,
TV
not
shows.
movies. That's true. But they could still call it that Disney Marvel Studios and not have an actual working studio, or just minimize it to make.
I say they bring back the great movie ride, but like
Marvel,
make it Marvel themed.
They could.
Yeah.
That would be fun. That would be
go from movie to movie.
Yeah.
Go from movie to movie with live actors.
Yep. Oh yeah, that would be real fun.
Yeah.
How about a Marvel themed haunted mansion?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Marvel themed Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
Man, that could be fun too. Yeah.
What any extinct rides you'd bring back with a Marvel thing? Don't say Horizons.
I was thinking Horizons.
I was thinking Horizons
ride that I could think of
because that's the first thing everybody says.
Horizons. I just want Horizons back so I can
actually ride it.
I missed it. Yeah.
Oh, you missed it.
They're going to rebuild it just for you. Tell you what, if you win the lottery this weekend, why don't you build that?
You know what they could bring back? Alien Encounter, but Marvel themed with Thanos, let's say.
They could. There's plenty of
It's
aliens.
Got to be Rocket Raccoon.
Oh yeah. I mean, you think about the Stitch. It'd be Rocket instead.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of Stitch, it'd be Rocket. They
keep Rocket inside of that tube.
Yeah. The collector is there, and he's like, "Yeah, I caught Rocket." Ha 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 ha. And
I didn't think about that.
Get out of here, and then Rocket's running all around. Hey, I need your help to get out of here. Hey, you get out of the lights.
So, how many meetings do you think Disney executives have had already on what to do with their Marvel characters?
Too many.
And how to put them in the park.
Yeah.
They're listening to this podcast right now, and they're ripping everything up, going, forget it.
What are they talking about? Those idiots.
Take that off. Don't even follow those guys anymore. Take them off the list.
Yeah, there's a lot they can do.
There's a whole lot they can do.
How about food-wise?
Well, we already did the test
The
kitchen.
Pim test kitchen.
To do the
Shawarma.
shawarma?
Gotta
Yeah,
have
yeah, you gotta have the shawarma. See what else could they do?
What about a counter service restaurant?
Hmm.
How
I mean,
would you do
honestly,
that?
you could do whatever.
You
I
could.
mean,
Right.
you just grab IP, throw it on there, and then have some.
But the theming at Pim's Test Kitchen is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's
What you gonna have
unique.
iron burgers?
I don't know. I have to think about it.
You got to build your burger. You know,
The-
you got to choose the right parts to build that burger. Boom, boom. Every
Want a good
time
burger?
you get a
Go to-
burger, you hear chung, and they're
You
like
want a really
banging
good
down.
burger? Go to Connections in Epcot. Oh my God, best burger on property right now.
Mhm.
Go with the gauntlet mug holder. You're walking around with the gauntlet mug.
Mhm.
Mm.
I'm not sure. I couldn't think of another one.
You know, I'd like to see them do something like they have in Pandora with Satuli's Canteen,
Oh yeah,
and
about
something like they
flavor
have in.
it's
Well,
otherworldly,
You could
Yeah.
do an Asgard
Right.
or Asgardian something.
with the rainbow colors.
Yeah. Rainbow,
come up with
rainbow
these-
this, rainbow that, and Asgardian this and Asgardian that. Yeah.
Yeah.
By Frost Giants. Yeah, here's your Frosty Giant.
And because they like selling alcohol in the theme parks now, they can come up with a bar that will get
Oh, yeah.
people
There you
in
go.
and do all these
Yeah.
weird
This
concoctions.
is Asgardian mead.
Oh, we could have a bar that's themed to nowhere.
Mm,
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
that would be fun. Oh yeah. The Nowhere Bar.
Where we going? Nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah, we're going nowhere.
Nowhere.
Where you guys been? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah, that
fun.
would work.
You gotta hurry up and you gotta win that thing so we can
Gotta
do that.
win it.
So,
Yeah.
John, I know you researched this. So if your fifth park opens a Marvel park, what are you putting in there and how or where?
What's your weenie that you're going to have in the front
Yeah.
or in the
What's the
center, I
icon?
should say?
Well, I didn't get. I mean, I dealt with themes. I didn't get down to all the details. I mean, I've talked about some of the things I think you need, like the meet and greets and the costumes and the pictures, events. But as far as a weenie, that's a good question. I mean, there's certainly Stark Tower, Avengers Tower, but there's also the sanctums.
Sanctum Sanctorum, yeah. I think Avengers Tower would be
Yeah, that'd probably be the top one.
Although, well, yeah.
What's inside of it?
The Rainbow Bridge that Lottie talked about.
Avengers Tower, actually, I mean, you'd have several different things that were themed to different ones. You could even switch up the themes. Hey, it's Black Widow time, so I mean, even switch up the themes with the movies. Okay, so Thor: Love and Thunder's out, so now Avengers Tower's got we're walking in and we're seeing all kinds of Thor themed stuff.
Yeah, and you could certainly do nighttime projections on something like the Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or do a fireworks show. Do like a World of Color kind of fireworks show there with the Marvel.
Oh, could you see World of Color with the Rainbow Bridge?
I just had that thought too.
Yeah.
So you need, I'm thinking with that tower, you're going to need something inside of there. So it's going to have to be something,
Food.
similar type of people mover like you've got for Rise of the Resistance, where it can lock in and it can drop down and come back up and go to different areas where you can jump back and forth between different floors.
Yeah, just so long as it's not Tower of Terror.
Right.
No, it's got to be movable. We're like at the end, towards the end of Rise, where you're dropping down. So maybe you drop a floor, back up into another floor. So you're not just always going up one, down one. You can go from one floor to another as you're doing whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, that would work.
Send my royalty check Disney to
There you go.
123 Easy Street.
1, 2, 3.
So something you can find on YouTube right now is Modern Marvel's Magical Disney World. It's from season 11, episode 59. It's approximately an hour and a half long. I don't recall what year it was made, but if you want to see how things changed at Disney from then to now, it's a fascinating watch.
Mm.
I watched that.
And you could see, I remember watching it years ago, but I could see where Disney was, where it is, and where it's going. And you know Marvel is going to be a centerpiece of something in their future.
Mhm.
They're incorporating it right now, but you know it's going to be a centerpiece at some point.
It's just making them too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have got to get those rights back on the East Coast.
Yeah.
We discussed this a little bit in the pre-show before we started to record, and I think we're going to see Universal relent at some point. At least that's the chatter I've been hearing from time to time. It's been a while, but it's something I've been hearing from time to time, because those attractions are just so outdated, and there's so many other things Universal themselves wants to do. I think once they get that third park open,
I don't know that I would say they're outdated. They refreshed both the Hulk coaster and the Spider-Man ride, and they were last month. They were fantastic.
wow.
Yeah. That Spider-Man ride it's still something. Yeah. I don't think the Transformer one, that's sort of like a little copy, but no, that Spider-Man ride is really it is still something. And yeah, they I don't say refurbished, but yeah, they freshened up the whole coaster.
They took the entire track out and replaced the tracks.
Oh, okay, then that's more.
But you know what though? They can retheme those.
Yeah.
They can retheme the coaster. They can redo the videos for Spider-Man and put them into, some other IP that they have.
They did it with Transformers.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got to believe they do it partly as just spite for Disney to hold on to this. They certainly make money. But I think
they have to keep them freshened up, because if it does get too far, if it gets to the point where it is too, it's not maintained. If it's not maintained, they can take that license away from them.
Well, right, but why did they go and invest keeping it up to date as compared to making the money for themselves and not having to pay royalties?
Because they're getting people to come over from Disney to their park.
Yeah,
but it's gotten to the point where you don't recognize those characters for the way they actually are today, because the costuming on the characters is so outdated.
It's from the comic books. I wouldn't say it's
comic book
outdated. It's
version.
the comic book version.
Right. It's getting people a different way. So there's some people that live more for the comic books than do for the movie.
Would Disney's answer to that be to change the look in the comic books?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think that that's in their plan to change that stuff.
So the land right now, the way it is literally like they took a page out of a comic book. The way the buildings, the facades of the buildings are, the way it looks like a comic book. It doesn't look like the live action movie. So and it's not what I would consider an immersive land. And so it's essentially they should rename it Marvel Comic Book Land, because that's That's really what it is.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's semi-immersive. I mean, when I took Ava to the Doctor Doom's thing, I mean, you look over, they got like Ghost Rider's little shop or whatever. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I'll give it an E for effort.
It's not their property, and it's not the property of one of their partners. So I get that it's different. I just don't know how it serves Universal well enough for them.
Keeping it out of Disney's hands.
I know. That's what I said. I think it's for spite. And to
well,
take it out of Disney.
I don't know if I'd say spite so much as just keeping. I mean, because it's not so much spite. I mean,
if they have
because I mean, it's not like they're not making money off of it. It's not like they're they're keeping the property and putting it in the corner, and there's some little
Disney,
yeah.
they could make this much money, but if they let it go, Disney stands to make that much money.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
But how many more years is it going to be before the generation that goes to Universal has no clue what a comic book is?
Those
don't
digital
think-
comics are out there right
Nobody
now.
knows what ET is, and it's still there.
Yeah.
Figure.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna forget, because even though the comics themselves and the live actions have their differences, there's enough similarities to where, I don't think some kid is gonna go, wait a minute, that's not Spider-Man. No, that's not.
I think there's enough of a fan base.
The whole Comic Con thing keeps it going too.
Exactly. That's what I was
Yeah,
about
it
to say.
does.
There's enough of a fan base, and Comic Cons are prevalent enough to where it'll-
So
Yeah.
So basically, what you guys are saying is Disney, until Universal relents, is screwed.
In one respect, but I mean, that's the thing, is they got around it with Guardians. There are other characters that they can use. I mean, Miss Marvel. There are other characters that are popular that are outside of what Universal has, to where they could just go and run with it if they wanted to.
Doctor
Thank you.
Strange.
and do things in
Yep. Strange and
Disneyland that they can't do in Disney World.
Miss Marvel.
Because it's west of the Mississippi.
Yep.
Now, could Disney at some point say, or do you think, I don't think this will happen, but I'll throw it out there, say, you know what? We're not going to do anything with Spider-Man. We're not going to make movies. We're not going to put any more comics out.
Yeah.
With all the characters that are Universal, just to say, okay, we're going to make sure they go stale there. Like I said, I don't think Disney will ever do
Spider-Man
They make
makes them too much money.
that. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And plus, Disney doesn't even really own the IP.
No,
they
Sony.
sort of share it
Right.
with Sony, and Sony's not letting.
Right.
You're not
Oh,
giving
yeah.
up that
No
cash
way.
cow ever.
Not after that last movie. No
Oh, yeah.
way.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you
Yeah,
can't.
They're not giving up that one. So
That's right. You're never going to see the new Spider-Mans on Disney Plus in the near future. Well, I
The
should
only
say
way
never.
that's going to happen is if Disney ends up buying out Sony.
yeah,
And I don't.
I wouldn't put it
think
past
that's
them.
gonna
You
wouldn't
never
put
know.
it past them. Once they get that fifth park, yeah, they can do it.
happen. It's the Sony park. There we go.
Exactly. There you
And
go.
once they've
See,
made enough
you know.
money off at Disney Plus, they can go off. They can go off and buy the rights back.
Yeah, I don't think they're hurting because they don't have it. It's just it would just be an enhancement. It would just
Yep.
be, you know what? Instead of making this much money, we're gonna make this much money. I mean,
Yeah.
because there's enough variety and different things that they can do, to where if they just really sat down and got the number crunchers in the room, and
Mhm.
got a couple comic nerds in the room, and they could figure it out.
I think you're right.
I'm sure they've had that discussion many times.
Oh yeah, they just haven't called me. I mean, they haven't returned my calls. That's all. I mean, I keep telling them, come on, man, we need to do this.
Have you gotten a lot
One
of
of these days,
down-
they're gonna call me.
And you're going to think it's spam. Like, just go, yeah, I'm not answering that.
Yeah,
call.
yeah. Now I'm gonna have to check all that spam. Thank you. Yeah. Wait a minute, this could be Disney.
Have
Would
you
you
gotten
like
a letter
a
from
new
their
car
legal
loan?
staff yet, Kyle?
Say it again.
Cease
Have
and
you gotten a
assist.
letter from their legal staff yet? Like,
Is that
returning
cease
your
and
ideas?
desist? Stop.
No. Oh shucks. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much they could do. And
Oh yeah. There's so much. There's
land.
so much open.
Well, they're limited in a land, but there's so much they can do in a theme park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah.
And like I even said, Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl.
Nobody knows who that is.
Oh,
I know, and other comic folks know.
Can
It's
you
actually
Moon Girl with
it's
Moon
actually
Knight?
a new show that they're putting on Disney Plus. Thank you very much.
Is that related at all with Moon Knight?
No, nope,
Okay.
nope. It's just I don't know why she's calling herself Moon Girl, but she's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. It's a little black girl. She's like a genius.
Mm.
So it's little girl, and she's got Devil Dinosaur with her. Big old red dinosaur.
so
Mhm.
if I raised this question before and I just looked it up. Warner Brothers owns DC Comics.
Mm.
Could you ever see Warner Brothers strike a deal with Disney for Disney to buy DC Comics?
I don't know. That would be
I
weird,
don't know.
but interesting. But
I'm
I
here
don't
for
know.
the crossovers.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Crossovers would be great.
That would be great.
Oh God, Batman meets Mickey Mouse.
You could.
Mhm.
I mean, they
Yeah, that crossover.
they would have to do the crossover under something other, a different name though. Kind of like
Yeah.
when they did Touchstone Video or Touchstone Studios did Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So something like that. I mean, and even then, why don't we have Roger Rabbit? Because Ambien wouldn't give up the rights.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Amblin.
Amblin. Sorry,
Ambient.
Ambien.
That's a
Well,
sleep
let's
medication.
relax.
Yeah, they were. They were too
Yeah.
tired. They wouldn't give up the right.
They just kept falling asleep every time
Yeah,
they wouldn't sign
exactly.
the deal.
Yeah, sign it.
So yeah, Amblin wouldn't give it up. They were fighting over the rights back and forth with all of that. So that didn't work. But it would be cool for a one-off movie with DC and Marvel.
Yeah,
They needing the help
they
of
did in
each
the
other
comics.
to battle the. I mean, you're in the multiverse. Come on.
Yeah, they did in the comics
Yeah.
several times. They sort of made this sort of in between comic. Called it I think called it Amalgam, and then they had DC characters and
Well, and they both used to have
Marvel
Captain
characters.
Marvel a long way back.
Yeah. Captain Marvel was originally the name was originally a DC thing. Went with
Right.
Shazam.
Right.
That's why
Shazam.
That's why they call him Shazam, because they
Right.
lost the rights to Captain Marvel.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm. Now
That's right.
that's what Marvel did out of spite. You talk about spite. Yeah, you like we're Marvel.
Business.
We're taking Captain Marvel. Yep. Oh yeah, that's a fun story.
all right. We've gone a long way with this show so far. I think unless you guys want to bring something else up with Marvel doing Atlanta Park, I think we'll just call it a night.
Yeah. I think we're
All right.
bugging out figuratively and literally.
Yeah. So I'm glad I do it from indoors.
That's why I'm in the basement.
Yeah. It was at 6:00 tonight. It was 93 degrees outside. Now it's quarter after 10 approximately, and it's 87 degrees here.
We're 72.
Shucks.
All right. Well, this was a fun show. We agreed to disagree. So we're going to call it a night. Now we'll be back next week with a news show and our regular show. So I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's little trip down Marvel Lane. And until next time, everybody be safe. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
See you real soon.
Well, even though you said that we've gone too long, if we put a theater into this Marvel world, I'll be able to say, I can do this all day.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.